Today, I'm going to show you how to create a color palette for your Squarespace website. Now, the psychology behind colors is super fascinating, and I do encourage you to get into the psychology if you're into that kind of research and geeking out on that kind of stuff. However, when it comes to your website and your business and you really just want to get something up and get something started, here is a quick way to create a color palette that one matches the tone or messaging of your website that you want people to understand about your company and also present it in a professional manner. Okay, what do you do if you have no color ideas? How do you come up with images and color ideas that you think will be right to communicate your business to your audience? Glad you asked. We're gonna go over to Pinterest, and I want you to type in some adjectives that describe your business. Now, like I said at the beginning, there is a lot of color psychology involved with colors. And so how we're going to communicate that is using adjectives. So if I have a business that is fun, playful, childlike, or maybe it's feminine, or maybe it's health-oriented and natural, those are all adjectives that you can use to describe your business to come up with a color palette. So I have a brand personality cheat sheet that I give to all of my clients so that they can help come up with these adjectives and words that describe their business. Here are some adjectives that you can use. Obviously, there are thousands of adjectives in this world, but these are just a few to get your brain thinking. So for Sarah, she really wanted a approachable, inviting, professional, trustworthy, and warm adjectives to describe her business. So I'm going to take a couple of these. You can use all of them, but just to see what kind of color palettes come up when I put these into Pinterest. So we're going to type professional, trustworthy, warm, color palette. Now, if you color psychology, which pops up right away, blue is notorious for trustworthiness. It's also warm colors are these warm terracotta colors, which are these neutrals, these kind of orange, dark rust colors. So it is showing a lot of those. Even these deep greens, these like natural colors, do have a lot of warm tones to them. So all these are great that communicate those words. So obviously these are moving you in the direction of having a color palette that accurately represents the message you're trying to send to your audience. So what I tell my clients is to save a few of these to a Pinterest board. Like this one is super great. This has got those deep blues and some neutrals in there and a really bright popping red that would be great for buttons. Save all those to a Pinterest board and either choose your favorite one or give it to your website designer so that she can play around with them in your website and see which ones really look great. And then once you've got your favorite color palette, you can enter in those hex codes inside Squarespace. Here, you can either choose hex or the RGB color code, whichever one you have, and you can change all of those there. So we're in Squarespace right now. I'm going to show you where the color palette is so that you can see what I'm talking about. Once you're in your main navigation area, we're going to go over to the right side where this little paintbrush icon is that says Site Styles. So we're going to click on that paintbrush, and it's going to open this new window on the right side. You can see your entire theme here. You can change your fonts, you can change your colors, your buttons, your forms, and miscellaneous down here. This has changed recently, so if this does look new to you, that's because Squarespace has updated a lot of things. They do update a lot, so make sure that you're watching the most recent tutorials. This is as of September 2024. For the color palette, we're going to click this middle one that says colors. You can click the arrow button. Now you can see how the colors actually play out in your website with these color theme sections. So how they do this is they have darkest of your color palette to dark, to bright, to light, to lightest. So this gives you a lot of variety when you're using these in each section of your website. These can all be background colors. So if you want to think about like background colors, this would be like the background color, and then the lettering would be the color of the type on top of that. So you have a choice from your darkest to your lightest. And these are all in your palette. So how we're going to edit our palette, and I don't know why my colors aren't showing up there, but they should be showing up. We're going to hit edit palette. Here's my colors. So your edit palette includes 5 photos, and that includes your white and your black if you are using white and black. If you want white and black, those are included in your 5 colors. I do like that this is a limited color palette because it keeps you from getting a little too crazy with your fonts. So keeping that in mind, we're choosing colors from light to dark, and really you're having maybe only one popping color that's going to be your main button call to action. So your button call to action is going to be your most prominent color that's going to stand out from everything else, because again, we want those buttons to stand out for people to click, correct? So this is all part of your user interface, making sure visitors, when they come to your website, they know exactly what to look at first and what to click on first. Those are our most important actions that we want people to take. So we scan websites super quickly, and if we don't see somewhere to click, we're gonna miss it. So keep that in mind. As you can see here, my middle button is this coral peach color, and that is my button color as well. Now I'm going to show you how you can choose a color palette here next. Now, if you look down below, there's quite a variety of color palettes already included in Squarespace. And I really love that they've updated all these palettes because they used to be gross, but now I like that they've updated them and have a much wider variety. The second way of doing this, which I do love, is to create a color palette from a photo. Now, if you can go to Pinterest and find a photo that really sets the tone for your company, I want you to grab it. So I want to show you an example of a color palette that I created for Wits and Words, and this is exactly how we came up with this color palette. She sent me a Pinterest board of photos that really set a tone for the imagery that she liked, the feel, the colors that she liked. And I'll show you them here. See, these are photos of rooms with cushions and couches, but gives the color tones that she liked, which was some had these yellows and blues in them. So she was toying with the idea of doing these yellow and blues, and then she also liked the green and blue as well. So we had a few options for her, and all I did was I went to a website called coolors.co. Coolors, C-O-R-S, coolors.co. And if you use their generator, you can go up to this icon that has a camera up in the top. You can grab your photo and drag it in here, and see it automatically picks a color palette from this photo, but you can move things around. So see, there's no green in this one. We wanted to capture that green. So I chose this color right in the middle that kind of didn't quite get to the green, and I'm going to move it over. So now I've got that green, and this blue, I really want this blue right here that's on that pillow, and then maybe a little bit lighter color from the wall. So you can adjust all these colors, but they are still pulling from the same photo. So this is how we came up with the color palette for her branding, but I'm going to show you how you can also do that in Squarespace as well. So again, we are over in Squarespace in the edit palette section, and you can see you can choose from image, and we're going to drag that image right on top. Now, Squarespace chose just random 5 colors, so you don't have the same control over which colors it's pulling from. So it pulled the brown and the green color, but with the coolors.co, you have a little bit more control over which colors it's choosing from the photo, which is what I do. Sometimes it can get lucky and you can drag a photo in here and it's perfect. So it just depends. You can drag a photo in there and see what it pulls up with. And if you don't like it, I would say go to coolors.co to get a more flexible pointer that you can point at the colors you want to pull from. Now with one client, I already had one of the photos from their logo. So their logo was this blue color and they wanted to stay with that color. So my job was just to come up with the remainder colors that go with it. And that's another great thing about Coolers is I can enter this blue color and then we can find what other colors go with it. You can find the hex codes of any color either using Canva or Illustrator. I would say use hex codes. From here, we're just gonna click. I'm gonna pull the hex code right here. We're just gonna copy it and we're gonna go to coolers.co again. And for the center photo or for the center color, I'm gonna make this our main color that we want to be that blue, and we're gonna lock this. So as I lock this means this photo is not going to change, but then we're gonna hit spacebar and it's going to cycle through different color palettes every time I hit spacebar. So I'm just gonna go through until I see ones that I like, and then I like this light blue. Once you see one you like, click that lock button again. Say I like these 3 colors, but I don't like these 2 colors. Hit that spacebar. It will cycle through. Say we like that one until you like the colors that they all go with. Again, choose light colors, neutral colors, and then just 1 or 2 bright colors for your website. You can use alternating colors for things like your social media or your other branding. Once you're done, you can export your palette, you can save your palette, you can screenshot this so you have it. There's a lot of different ways that you can keep this color palette. You hit export, you can download it in a number of ways, which is super awesome. You can get those codes, you can share it, make a PDF, all kinds of things. So another reason why I love coolers.co, this is not sponsored, but I do love them. I hope that helps you be able to choose a color palette pretty quickly for your website, for your business. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. Leave them below. Thanks.